My professor put me in an uncomfortable and scary position after I told him I was willing to do anything to get better grades. I was desperate. My scholarship required a 3.5 GPA, and I was sitting at a 3.2 because of Professor Whitmore's advanced statistics class. I'd studied harder for this course than any other in my entire college career, but nothing worked. After getting a D on the midterm, I went to his office hours with tears already forming. "I'll do anything to improve my grade," I said, exhausted from weeks of stress and sleepless nights. "Please, I need this scholarship or I can't afford to stay in school." Professor Whitmore leaned back in his chair and smiled in a way that made my stomach drop instantly. "Anything?" He stood up and walked slowly to the door. I heard the lock click. My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. He walked back to his desk and pulled something from a drawer. I was frozen in my seat, my mind racing through every terrible scenario. Then he set down a stack of papers in front of me. "These are practice exams from the past 5 years. I usually only give these to my graduate assistants." He sat back down and pushed his glasses up his nose. "You'll come here every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. before class starts. We'll go through every problem together until you understand the concepts completely. No excuses, no missed sessions." I stared at him, completely confused. "That's it? That's it." I lock the door during these sessions because other students constantly try to interrupt. And frankly, you need focused attention without any distractions. He gestured at the stack. "This will be brutal. I've had students cry during these sessions from frustration. Some quit after the first week, but every single one who stuck with it passed my class. For 6 weeks, I showed up at 6 a.m. twice a week without fail. Professor Whitmore broke down every concept I thought I understood and rebuilt it from the ground up. He made me solve problems on the whiteboard while he picked apart every flaw in my logic. Some mornings I wanted to quit entirely. One time I actually did cry out of pure frustration when I couldn't grasp probability distributions. He handed me a tissue and said, "Good, now you're taking this seriously. Let's try again." The other students in my class started noticing I was getting better. A guy named Jordan who sat next to me asked how I suddenly understood the material. I told him about the early morning sessions. His face went completely pale. "Wait, you've been meeting with Whitmore alone? With the door locked?" The way he said it made me realize how it sounded. "It's not like that," I said quickly. "He's just helping me study." But Jordan had already told his girlfriend, who told her roommate, who told someone on the student council. Within a week, rumors were spreading that Professor Whitmore was trading grades for inappropriate favors. Someone reported him to the Title IX office. I got called in for an interview the very next day. The Title IX coordinator was a woman with kind eyes who kept asking if I felt pressured or coerced. I explained the truth repeatedly, but she kept circling back to the locked door, the early hours, the desperation I'd expressed. "Sometimes victims don't realize they're being manipulated," she said gently. "There's no shame in admitting what really happened." I wanted to scream. Nothing happened except a professor going above and beyond to help a struggling student succeed, but nobody believed me. Professor Whitmore was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. His other students were furious because now a substitute was teaching who couldn't explain anything properly. I felt sick knowing I destroyed this man's career by accepting his help. The investigation lasted 3 weeks. They reviewed security footage from the hallway showing me arriving and leaving at consistent times with books in my hands. They interviewed the graduate assistants who confirmed the practice exam protocol existed. They found 17 former students who'd done the same early morning sessions over the past decade, and all passed the class without any inappropriate contact. The Title IX office cleared Professor Whitmore completely. He returned to teaching, but something had changed. He announced in class that he would no longer offer private tutoring sessions to any student. The practice exams would no longer be shared. Office hours would only occur with the door open and another faculty member present. After class, I approached him to apologize. He held up his hand. "You did nothing wrong. You told the truth and advocated for me during the investigation. That took courage." His voice was tired. "But I've been teaching for 22 years, and this is the first time I've been accused of something like this. I can't risk it ever happening again." I passed his class with a B+, kept my scholarship, but every time I see him in the hallway now, I think about how trying to help someone and trying to destroy someone can look exactly the same from the outside.